What's up, everybody? So, started this project. Let's see. Just a little impromptu stream here, but started this on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. And I'm just finishing it up today. I'm just gonna add a couple details. Was working with the team at Banton Frameworks, got some feedback, super helpful. So I just want to point out a couple of things here. If you want to catch the full stream and get the full screen, if you're watching on Instagram, definitely hit up youtube.com/sketchaday.com. You can also catch the replay there as well, because you can't really see on the screen here very well. So couple of things. I was kind of messing around with the bridge piece here. If I were rendering this, I would probably take a little bit more time to work out the fillets and so forth. But actually, as it turns out, talking with the team, we don't need, let's see, let me roll to the end here. Close this up. We don't need these fillets on the end. So I'm just going to select those and delete. We're using Fusion 360 today. And this separation here, this piece is actually going to be all one body, the same thing. So my understanding is this will actually cut all the way through. We'll see how that ends up. So just for my 3D printing purposes, I'm going to eliminate this feature. Where is it? Right here. So let's go and find it. Okay, let me go back before the mirror. I'm trying to remember this file order as well. So I'm using Fusion 360. We are working from some of these quick thumbnails that I'd done before for you guys on the YouTube right here. Just working from these thumbnails. Okay, and trying to just make sure I capture some of these details and things that are part of glasses. So I think ultimately they are going to look more like this. I just need to figure out the backside transition, but they'll kind of help with that, so I'm not terribly worried. And then the other thing is they do have these studs for their hinges, so I'm going to try and add maybe a little detail there, but I do like the protruding. I think we settled on the horn, we're calling it. Jamie at Banton Frameworks called it that today. So just this protruding portion that we kind of modeled up on Tuesday. And then the other bit of feedback I got was they're going to be using their own hinges, but for my purposes, I am going to just use a piece of copper wire or something like that, drill a hole, shove it in there, and then I'll be able to wear these after they're 3D printed, test the arms, and so forth. Okay, so I'm trying to find what feature this is. I don't remember. Usually you can right-click and find out, but I'm going to have to play a little bit of digging here. I think it's this one. Let's delete that feature. Boom. Okay, so now it's back to one piece. Sorry, YouTubers. Welcome, not Helcom. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. I've got two mice here as well. The sound is very low. Do you mean the audio or like the voice or the music? The voice or the music? Let me know. I'm just listening to my usual playlist on Spotify, in case you're wondering. Welcome, David, Elliot, Roshan, what's up? I know, I love the pill too, but the feedback I got was that they're not able to do it, so I'm going to cap the ends here with metal, though. Traditionally, they use these two pins, but I want this to be kind of just a metal piece, and then I'm just going to dream for now and face reality once these get made. Okay, so just to recap, here's where we are from the last episode. Everything is parametric. Again, for visualization purposes, I may add some fillets. The voice was low yesterday too. Let's see if we can turn up this gain. All right, is that better? Let me know if that's better. Arthur's like, is there music? Yeah, there is supposed to be music, but just playing around here. If you're watching on Instagram and you want to see the full screen, just head over to youtube.com/sketchaday.com. That's the best place to ask me questions. I'm just broadcasting my screen here. There's really no way for me to mirror this onto Instagram, so if you have questions, youtube.com/sketchaday.com. All right. Wasting too much time talking here. Okay, so there's a couple things I forgot to address. I remember. So I'm going to roll back before these two fillets, and I do want to fillet the arm here. So I'm just going to pick these two, and then now I can hit whatever radius I want. So I'm going to pick 5mm, see how that looks. I could also construct it with a spline, but I do think that the design here is mostly rational geometry, so I'm trying to maintain that throughout the design so that we have some consistency. Okay, so now I have those fillets, and I can roll forward, and what should happen is it should break. Just kidding. I thought it was going to pick up this edge, but I think I have to, let's see. Let me get rid of that one. That's trouble. And I'll go ahead and hit that plus sign, pick another edge here, and we'll do 0.5 millimeter. And now you can see we have a nice fillet right there. Okay, so if you build your surfaces consistently, you can kind of see the continuity there as well. That is good to see you, Tuan. That is I don't know, just something I like to do. If you have a design that's consistent, build the overall form. It's kind of like when I sketch and I do form, divide, beautify. It's the same thing with 3D. You want to get your big forms in and then divide those and then beautify. Okay, so hit OK here, and we got our fillets on the frame back. I'm gonna add, the reason I don't need to add the fillets really is that in production they actually tumble, meaning they'll put the glasses in some sort of abrasive and then tumble the whole thing. So I don't really need to, but I'm gonna add a couple just for visualization, like I said. Okay, so here, let's add another fillet. Just like that, boom. So now I have my horn sticking out. Fillets got a little bit weird here. If I were actually modeling this, I'd probably have to manually figure out, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 surfaces meeting at a point. It gets a little weird. If you're used to doing 3D, or if you've done 3D in the past, that can just be a tricky spot. So you have to strategy there. But basically the center piece right through here, in fact, my combine is off. Okay, so this whole piece, if I were to assign the appearance, this is going to be some sort of wood. Let's just say maple. Maybe there's a maple in the library here. Appearance library. Yep, there we go. So I can just drag this, and let's see, apply to bodies. Also, thanks for hanging. It was fun last time. I certainly learned a bunch with you guys. I think I just click on it. Let's see. Oh, I need to download it. All right, so I'm gonna hit download here into my file, and now let's see. Can I be signed at face? Nope, that's not working. All right, let's see if I can find a wood here. All right, cool. So, oops. Let's type in wood. They have these 3D textures. I've never actually used a 3D texture before, so that was just a random guess. But I'm just gonna drag this to the body, play with it a little bit. Let's delete this one. So we've got at least some color there to identify. Okay, that's a different part. And on these tips, like I said, I kind of wanted these to be a different material. So let me think on this one. Since I'm 3D printing it, I don't really need to do this, but I'm gonna do the split. I'll do it right before the mirror, and then I'll just have to change it before I actually send it to my 3D printer. But I'll show you guys how I do that and a little bit of the setup. My printer is actually running right now. I'm making another part for another project, personal project. But right here, let's do a sketch on this surface. Okay, so I just picked that flat surface. Wants to do a sketch now. Such a weird orientation. Okay, there we go. So now I can draw a line, and this line, like I said in the first episode, I like constraints. So it's constrained horizontal. That little icon on the bottom says that it's horizontal. Questions about what program this is Fusion 360, and I'm just making a mock-up, so I'm not, like, even here this transition is terrible, but I'm not terribly concerned about it right now. But let's see. Okay, back to this guy. Let's go ahead and dimension. So trying to find a point on the model here I can pull from. It's not letting me do it, so sometimes you do have to add like a reference point. Okay, so here on this intersection, click there, and just to make sure we are absolutely coincident, I'm gonna pick these two and hit coincident. Is that not working? It's a weird model, so I don't exactly remember all the things I did. Okay, there we go. So now we're coincident, which means this point, no matter where I drag it, it won't leave this line. And that's important because now I can control how far this line is from the other line. So again, that's why I like constraints. So I'm going to deselect everything, pick this line, hit construction, so construction lines don't factor in. And now I can make a surface, right? I can also dimension and say, hey, you know, if this is a piece of metal capping my design, how much do I want that? I've got my calipers again. Super handy if you're working in 3D and you just want a visual reference. It's a great way to do it. Another thing I want to show you guys is a few years ago I made this tool, and I worked on it with a friend of mine, Johnny Jensen, another guy, Thomas Bender, but it's basically a handy CAD referencing tool that we launched on, we didn't launch this one on Kickstarter, but we had intended to, and so it's just a quick visual reference for, hey, what does a 1 millimeter depth look like, or 3/4 millimeters, 1/2 millimeter, and so forth. So maybe we'll bring this back. I don't know. It also has references, just a quick visual check for hole sizes as well. Radii, this is I think 1 inch on the outside. There's a 2 millimeter chamfer. So if you wonder what a 2 millimeter chamfer looks like, and you have this, it's a pretty good reference. You can just look at this and go, okay, 2 millimeters, perfect. Here's my depth, awesome. It's missing a couple things, like I think it needs the reverse of what 1 millimeter is, but looking at this, I'm gonna go with, let's see, I'll go with 1.5 for my metal. So again, just a nice tool right there for the Instagram, right there for the YouTubers. A nice tool to have if you're modeling. Henry Roa is asking thoughts on Mac versus PC for CAD. I like Macs regardless of what I'm doing, so if I can figure out a way to do CAD on a Mac, I will do it on a Mac always. And that's just my personal preference, but ultimately, and this goes for sketching, it's been an interesting week. Lots of discussion, healthy debate about process and best practices. I think ultimately, we all do things differently. We can critique each other's means of doing things, but ultimately, however you do it's the way you do it. If you're gonna work with someone, if they like the way you work, that's cool. Doesn't matter really what I think. What really matters is how you work, what works for you. Okay, I'm gonna switch this to 2 sides because symmetric's just kind of awkward. But I basically just want a plane here to separate these two, okay? So I'm gonna hit, hit OK. So I've got a surface plane here, and now I can insert a command, modify, actually it's right there, split body. It's gonna ask, okay, what do you want to split? I'm gonna split this guy, and I'm gonna use this plane as my tool. I don't want to extend the splitting tool. Extend the splitting tool, as I discovered, actually projects it all the way out. So you see how that's now trying to slice through the front of the frame. But if we look at the top plane here, I don't want to slice off my bridge piece, okay? That would not be comfortable or convenient in any sense or by any means. So if you deselect that, it isolates it just to that region. I can hit OK. Hopefully don't crash. All right, Fusion just had some updates. This is a cloud-based modeling tool, which is another reason I like it. I can open my files on my Mac Pro over here, or I can open them on my MacBook, and I don't have to worry about storing my files in a specific place. So that's super convenient, and another reason I like using the product. Okay, let me actually delete this. Do I want to delete that? Yeah, I can delete this fillet, I think. Oh wait, no, I tried to delete the face. So, let's see where this is. Okay, cool thing about Fusion as well, so you have this timeline on the bottom. It's kind of like a play-by-play of the whole model. So if I wanted to go back to the early stage of the model, I can just roll this all the way back, and you'll see, hey, I actually started out with 2 planes like this to establish the main geometry, and we can hit play, and it'll just go through the whole model, and you'll see, let's see, there we go. Or is it playing up to that point? Yeah, that's right. It plays up to the point. So now if I hit play, it'll start from the beginning. You can see the sketch. Here's all the surfaces I built, right? All the process, cutting things away, turning things off, building the arm, and so forth. So pretty powerful. If you want to scroll back, make some changes, you can always do that in the timeline. And it's pretty easy and powerful to do. If you're used to working in something like Rhino or Alias, or a non-parametric modeling tool, you'll know the frustration of, you know, hey, I made this miscalculation, now I got to go back and rebuild. So you do a lot of rebuilding if you're not working parametrically. But like I was saying, here, if I want to identify what this fillet is on the timeline, if I click on it, right there. So I know that's the feature. So I can delete this, and my model remains intact, even though I was working after that point in time. So yeah, I'll propose this to them. Maybe it's just a solid metal cap instead of studs for the arms or frames. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it ends up. But that's the beauty of, I think, design, is you have a chance to work in tandem, hand in hand with manufacturers to make your ideas become reality. So I'm going to play with a few fillet options here and see if I can come out with something good. This will probably be a shorter stream too. I thought it was going to take, after the feedback from the team there, I realized, oh, we're actually pretty close to getting something, right? So I'm gonna pick this edge as well, do a 0.5 millimeter, and then I'll pick this edge if it'll let me. Okay, it's not letting me pick that edge, so I'm gonna pick it independently and do 0.5 millimeter. Boom. Okay, so close enough. I can always massage that. You know, again, it's just for visual purposes at this point and conceptualizing the idea, but maybe something like that. Okay, so we've got the inlay piece that they're suggesting putting in. What I'm not entirely sure about is if the frame will be interrupted like that and they're just going to glue it together and machine it, or if this needs to stop here. That's what I'm not sure about, but I'll find out soon enough. Not a big deal. Okay. So here on the model, I have some options. I can either try and model this in by hand, or I can go measure some copper wire, like I said, or a screw, and see if I can get that in place. I could clamp it, which seems a little bit difficult. So I'm just gonna grab a quick piece of copper wire, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got my wire here. Boom. I've been working on an electrical related project as well. So I've got some wire. I can just cut a piece off since I don't need to work with the whole thing. So let's just cut a little piece off. So what I'm envisioning anyways for this prototype is just taking a piece of this wire and shoving it into the arm of the frame. This wire right here, if you're on Instagram. So I figure that's easier than me having, me having to, you know, drill a hole, find a screw, all of that stuff. So what I'll do here, I've got my calipers on, set to millimeters. So I can just measure the diameter. I wish I had a micrometer, but I don't. So I'll just get the rough diameter. It's about 1.62. If I just rotate this around, 1.63. Because the 3D printing process, it tends to have things shrink a little bit. You know, you have this hot plastic that goes out at dimension, and then things shrink a little bit. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, so I'll go with like 1.65. I'm not sure of the actual percentage of shrinkage that'll happen after the process, but certainly with manufacturing plastic parts, it's a real thing that happens, and something you want to be aware of. So right here on the hinge portion, and I didn't set this up for articulation. We can mess around with it a little bit today and see. Let's see. I'm gonna try and pull off this circle, and usually what you can do, so let's say I have a circle here and this is a round edge. Assuming this is not a curvature continuous fillet, official JCH says, love a bit of fusion. Nice. I'm enjoying it too. It's been a learning process for sure, and so thanks for hanging out with me while I learn a little bit. All right. So now that I have these two selected, I can hit not equal. Mistake. So pick the round, pick the circle, and we want to do concentric. So this is basically the center of rotation for this arm. Okay, now if I want to move this in a bit, I can, and the way to do that would be, and this, again, this is all by estimation, but what I could do, let's see, yeah, I want to finish this sketch, but what I could do here is modify this feature. So if I hit edit feature, and let's see, I think we were, see which edge this was, 2.5. So if I went with like 1, nope, not that edge, it's this feature, edit feature, it's probably this one. Let's test it and see. There we go, 1. So if I move this, it's gonna move that circle in, right? So if I go 2, that might lead to a more balanced look once I hit OK, and there you see this looks more centered now. Okay, so it's such a small area that I'm not terribly concerned. I've got a little warning here, so let's check out what this is saying. Review warning, stitch body is invalid. Okay, edit feature here. I like to make sure everything's good. I was trying to stitch. Oh, I don't even need that now, so I'm gonna delete this stitch. It's not a factor. Okay, is this an offset? Okay, I don't need these 3, so I'm gonna delete these. And let's delete my extrude surface here. Maybe. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But you can see that the pin is now more central. And this radius, while not the same, gives, you know, it's related. It's close enough related. I'm just making up an arm. But again, they're going to probably chop this section out and replace it with their own thing. Okay, so back to this sketch. Let's go to edit sketch. If you're watching on Instagram and you want to catch the full like screen share with everything, cameras and all that, head on over to /sketchaday.com and you'll get to see that. All right, so we got picture in picture going. My apologies there. All right, so this diameter, like I said, I pulled from the piece of copper wire that I cut, which is about 1.61. I'm gonna make that 1.65. If I need to open that up a bit, shouldn't be too hard. I have drill bits, so I'll do I'll just do 1.7. Okay, let's just do 1.7. So for my diameter, I'm gonna have 1.7. So that's gonna be my copper stud that I put into this 3D printed part. I'll probably 3D print it in black plastic as well. I think that'd be good and nice look. So now I can do an extrude, and I'm gonna pick this profile. And with Fusion, what happens is instead of having extrude cut and extrude, you just have extrude, and you can actually just do join, cut, intersect, new body, new component, like all of it's right there. That took a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's really, really nice. So I can hit cut, tap this arrow, drag it through, and you'll see that you get a preview of what's gonna happen. Hit OK, and now I have a hole that I can put my copper in. I can epoxy it in place or whatever I need to do to make that sit. Okay, so now I've got my hole. It's like, all right, even if I want to model the copper pin in, I can do that. So let's go ahead and do that. We can even color it copper just for the sake of this. I can pick open shapes and profiles from the model as well in the sketch. So here, if I hit offset, pick this edge, and say negative 0.1 just for clearance, or I could even do 0.05. I'll just do negative 0.1. That should give me enough of a... Actually, I do want a tight fit, so I'm going to do 0.05. Not that... Negative point... Oh, two points in there. Delete one of those. Okay, so if I hit OK now, and then go to... Please don't crash. I'm going to save this. I'll save a version. Fusion does automatically save once you make your first save. It stores it in your library. Your library is right here in your data panel. That's where you have all your CAD, CAM, manufacturing, all that stuff. I'll be doing a few more streams in the future where I show you how to program a CNC router or machine and how to set that up. I've been working with the Fusion guys to do that at home here as well. Okay, so I've got my shape, and now I can hit extrude, and let's pick this profile right there. And again, you'll see that it's highlighted, so I have the option now to extrude wherever I want. And so just rotating the model around, I'm gonna pick a different command here. Normally you can just put a distance in. So I could say, you know, I want this to be 20 millimeters, or rather, let's do, there's a positive negative direction to the way you extrude. So there's a positive going one way and a negative. I'm not sure exactly how it's calculated yet. I'm still learning. But if I put 20 in, you'll see that there's, you know, a bit of overhang. That's like if I took some of this electrical wire and just shoved it all the way through. But I just want it to be neat. So I'm going to hit extent. I'm going to say to object, and I can pick this plane, for example. I could pick an edge, but since this is a planar face, it works just fine. Make sure the operation says new body and hit OK. And now I have a new body in my tree here. If you want to stay organized, you can also do, let's see, rename. Maybe if I just click on it. Yeah, if I click on it, I can rename it, and we can call this pin. Okay, so now it's easy to find that pin. And as far as the appearance goes, let's see if we can find some copper in this library. We're not jumping into Keyshot just yet. I'll leave that for Roshan. Maybe he wants to model this up for me. If you don't know who he is, check him out on the Insta. And since we're going with copper, which is kind of cool, maybe I'll just go with copper for this tip. That's pretty sweet. Okay, and then let's close our appearance panel. This is that extrude feature, I believe, and I don't think I need it, so I'm gonna delete it. See what I break. Okay, the only thing that broke, I think, is the mirror feature. So now I've got my copper, I've got my acetate arm. Let's go ahead and make that black as well. So I'm gonna search for some plastic, just for a quick visualization here. And let's see, plastic, glossy black. We could do a glossy black, matte black. Let's see how matte black looks. I like the matte black. I need like a semi-gloss though. Let's see. You can do textured plastic, it looks like, but I have to download that, and we all know what happened last time. Okay, I'm gonna go with the glossy black just since it's you know, in-app visualization here. We're not jumping in a rendering package. Let's delete this matte black, and let's see. I don't want it to be pure black, so I'm gonna make it a little bit lighter. Okay, done. All right. Thanks, DJ Designs. Thumbs up to you too. All right. So there's the half of my pair of glasses. If I want to put the lens in, let me think on how I want to do that actually. Oops, sorry. This is Fusion 360, in case you're wondering. All right, so here, I think what I'm gonna do, I need to get some round lenses in. Okay, I'm not gonna be 3D printing the lenses, but I just want to put them in. So I'm not gonna put this is Fusion 360. I'm not gonna put, you know, all the other stuff in there. So I want some reference geometry. So I'm gonna construct an axis through a cylinder, and this should work. There we go. So there's our axis. It's now showing up. Hit OK. Now I can pick this reference geometry, and let's see. I want to do, let me think on this. I do want a plane at that axis, so I'm going to insert, oh wait, no, construct an offset plane. Is it just offset? No, not offset. Let's see what kind of planes we have. Plane through, Could do a tangent plane, tangent to a cylindrical cone or face, not that one. Plane tangent to face at point, nope. Plane along a path, normal to an edge or sketch profile. Let's see if that works. So I'm gonna pick. Yeah, it's not letting me pick this axis. So let me see what options we have here. If one of you guys knows, let me know. I'm still learning as well. So maybe it's a plane through. Okay, let me think on this real quick. Because weird you can't do like a coincident plane. Midpoint between two faces or work planes. Alright, let's try this. So I can pick my axis, but I need to pick another line. So I'm trying to think of how I will do that. Alright. Thank you, Alco Designs. Playing through, people always ask me, do you just draw pictures or do you design? I actually do designs. I am a designer, as it turns out. Okay, plane at an angle, plane through an edge. Okay. So I can click on that. Boom. There we go. At 0 degrees, it assumes. So that's the command. Plane at an angle. Yes, Fusion right now is my primary CAD software. I'm bootstrapping a startup here. So, actually, this is interesting. If I do a Revolve, that's going to be wrong. So I need to actually create some reference geometry. So let's go ahead and it's going to be wrong because if you look at this lens, right, it's at a slight angle, like so. I'm just going to guesstimate. We're going to move fast here since it's just for visualization, but something like that. So this needs to be my center of rotation, okay? So if that's my center of rotation, let's go ahead and do, let's do a section view. So if you don't know what a section view, it's like taking a laser knife and cutting through an object. So I hit section analysis. I can pick a plane, like this top plane. And now, actually, I shouldn't pick the top plane. Let's go ahead and pick, under my reference geometry, let's see, construction. In my tree here, I'm gonna pick this plane. So it's cutting everything through that, and I can hit OK. And now my model, you see these pink areas, that's what's called a section. So that's what the model looks like through those points. Let's take a look at the top here. And now you can see what I was kind of talking about, okay? So I'm just gonna pick this angle, and now I'm going to draw a curve. So let's create, let me think on this. Yeah, let's draw a curve. So I'll do a, do I want to do, yeah, I'll do a I'll do a 3-point arc. We'll do this the hard way. I'm a creature of habit, so. So I'm just gonna pick a point here. Depending on how far out I want this to stick, maybe it protrudes a little bit. Actually, let me take a look at my glasses here. It looks like they don't protrude too much. If I'm just looking at these as reference, they don't protrude too much further. These actually have very flat lenses, as an example. So here you go. These are pretty flat for you YouTubers. Some glasses stick out a little bit more, but I'm gonna have these just go almost tangent. Someone's asking if I can do a simulation. I can show you a little bit. I'm still learning the simulation stuff, but it is pretty fun to be able to visualize your model being manufactured. So I can show you a little bit of that once we get to sending it to my printer here. So I need a line to make sure that this surface or shape I'm creating is going to be tangent across this mirror plane. So this is the mirror plane right in the middle. That orange dotted line is my middle mirror plane. And so here at this point, I'm going to click and draw a line. Now this line is meant to be construction, so let's go ahead and pick that, hit the construction button. And now if I pick these two curves, like so, I can hit tangent, and now they're tangent, okay? So there's my central axis of rotation, roughly in the center. Not exactly perfect. I could figure out the midpoint here. If I were to draw, yeah, I could figure out the midpoint, but I don't want to do it. It's too much work right now. So let's do a test and see if we can do a revolve here. So if I hit surface, revolve, pick this curve, and let's see. So I pick the profile, and now the axis I want to pick is that line. Okay, hit OK, and I have a lens. Now if I want to turn off the section view under my analysis in my feature tree here, I turn that invisible, and now I have a lens. And as far as the appearance of that goes, you know, I can thicken it up. Lenses have thickness. So let's go to solid, create, thicken. So it's going to take the surface and thicken it up. And I'll just do 0.3 millimeters or something. But I want that to be negative. I'm not going to actually pop the lens out here. This actually feels thicker. So I'm going to do like 1. I'll do 1 millimeter. All right. So I'll do 1. Make sure it's -1 so the arrow's flipped. Make sure this says new body, hit OK, and now I have a lens. And I can pick a material for this lens. So I can make it transparent, translucent if I want. So let's see if we have translucent. Misspelled that. Translu. Okay. So we got plastic, translucent white. Maybe I'll do transparent. See what they have here. This is Autodesk Fusion 360. This is not a sponsored post by any means. I was criticized this week for commercializing everything, so people are interesting. Let's try gray glass. Let's try that. So I'll just drag and drop this, and now we have some translucency. You can even see there's a little light in the scene. I haven't played with rendering in Fusion either, but if we double click on this, we should have some options. Limited somewhat. See, advanced highlight controls. I haven't messed with this much at all, so this is just based on prior experience with apps like this. Let's see, render settings, environment. Oh, we can pick different environments. That's cool. I do want to change the translucency though. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Okay, refractive index, absorption distance, roughness. These don't seem to help, but I'll just leave it for now. Maybe if I adjust the color. Okay, so adjusting the color kind of helps. Helps a little bit. I'm an industrial designer. I'm an industrial designer. That's what I do. Okay, so we've got our little copper tip there. We've got our little metal end, which I like. We've got our wood bridge, faux wood bridge, and we've got our lens in place. I think there were some fillets I wanted to refine a bit. So let's get out of this appearance thing. Hit close because my model is being weird. All right, there we go. So just some stuff on the back side. Just some stuff on the back side here I wanted to look at. I don't know why my zoom is being weird as well. So let's see. All right, it's just taking a lot of mouse scrolls to get there. All right, so just on this face, on the back edge here, if I actually click on this fillet and I go edit feature, I can add to the feature. So it's all in just one, just keeps it a little tidier for me. So I'll do 0.5, see what that looks like. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the edges I want. Let's do plus, and I'm gonna pick my edges here. I have 3. Let's pick this one and the inside, like so. I do realize I forgot to model one thing in, and I think I need to do that first. So let me actually cancel this. The other thing I need to model is a surface for my nose bridge. Okay, so let's try this a couple ways. My thought is if I just take this surface and I create an offset. So let's do a surface, create offset. Okay, if the distance is set to 0, it's just going to copy it, hit OK. And in my construction here, let's go ahead and turn off some stuff so it makes it a little easier to see what's happening. I work for myself right now. I'm a consultant. Consultant, educator, influencer, you might say. All right, by default. Let's pick, I don't want to pick the whole body, but it's making me do that. All right, it's fine. It's not a huge deal, I think. Yeah, it's not a huge deal because I can pick this edge now, and what I want to do is extend this edge. Let's see if, yeah, it lets me do it. Cool. So now I've extended this edge. So I have a couple options. I can either extend that shape or I can use it as a rail on something like a sweep, and I already have this surface, so I'm just going to pick this surface and create a sketch. Sketch on this surface. And what I'm trying to create here, guys, just so you see, on a pair of glasses you have these subtle tabs, right? And these tabs are meant to just help the glasses rest on your face comfortably. These tabs right here. Yeah, there you can see them right there. So helps your glasses rest on your face comfortably. So let's go ahead and sketch a curve, right? Subtle curve, something like that. And I want this to be definitely coincident with this point, which we are. Check, check, check. I also want this to be tangent. Looks like it's tangent already. So now what I can do is I can create a sweep and then cut from that sweep, okay? So let's create a surface. Let's see. Sweep. I'm going to pick my profile, which is that guy. And I'm going to pick my path, which is that guy. Whoa, it's picking the whole thing. Let's see. I don't want to do chain selection. I think maybe that's the problem. So let's pick, boom. Okay. So chain selection was selected, which means it tries to follow the entire model, anything that's tangent, what's the word? Tangent continuous. It tries to pick the whole thing. And so it was freaking out on me. All right. So orientation perpendicular is fine. I'm not going to mess with that. You can do taper, twist. I'm going to, let's see. Do I want new body? I think this will work. So I'm just going to hit new body. All right. So I could even hide this if I want. All right. That's just a separate piece. If you're joining on Instagram and you want the full screen share, head on over to sketchaday.com on YouTube. Okay, so the right plane, let's see. I need to create a sketch, and I'm going to do it on this plane now. So now I'm going to design the shape. Okay, I'm going to design the shape of this nose piece. All right, it's not something I really sketched out, but again, given the primitive kind of appearance of these shades, I'm going to keep the design fairly simple. All right. Now, I have no idea how this is going to feel on my face, so the best thing I can probably do here is measure. Okay, measure twice, cut once, all that good stuff. So I'm going to just take a quick visual check measure. This is about 5.5, 6 millimeters. So basically about 6 millimeters from this corner, I can start to draw. So again, that little box, it's really hard to see, but it's creating a snap. If I'm sketching here, creating a snap right at this intersection point. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. We can always modify that later. Get our constraints in where we need them to be. Because I do want, actually, let's do this first. I want a line, or is this not horizontal? Let's zoom in real close and get to this point. Boom, right there. Now I'm going to zoom out, pan over, and draw my line out. I do want this line, like I said, to be about 6 millimeters. And now I can create a 3-point arc. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I'm going to fillet this stuff, so don't worry. Which one is good, Fusion or Rhino? Whatever is good is what's good for you, man. I'm not in the business of telling you how to do stuff. I like it. Well, I shouldn't say not how to do stuff. But I do like Fusion quite a bit. Alright, now I'm going to make these two coincident. Actually, let's undo that. What I want to do... What is happening? Do you ever use different programs and you're used to a certain set of keyboard commands and then you jump into another? Oh, sorry guys. You jump into another and then you're like, whoa, all these keyboard commands are different. That's kind of what I was just going through. Okay, I'm going to overextend this line, But I do want to set up a relationship here so I know roughly the height of this. Okay, so dimension, I'm gonna pick this point, come on, work, there we go. So now we have a dimension. I can actually measure the tab. These are some of my favorite shades. They're G-Star shades. So this is about 18. So I'm just gonna go with 17. Let's just see what that looks like. 17, boom. Okay, and just place this where I want it to be. I probably should actually extend this line as well, now that I think about it. So let me go ahead and do that. Because we're going to cut this shape out, okay? That's the whole plan, at least that's my plan. Alright, so I'm going to cut this shape out of this, this sweep here. So let's hide this guy. And now I want to, and we'll hide this as well, hide the lens. Actually, I'll just hide some of this stuff. Alright, there we go. And name this while we're at it. So here's our lens. This is not Solidworks. This is Fusion 360. Alright. So now I'm gonna hit trim, surface, modify, trim, and I'm going to trim with my sketch here. Okay, so anything I select, it's gonna get rid of. Boom. So I got rid of that. Now I can turn back on the lens, and let's see, is this my frame? That's not it. We're gonna play that game of guess what part is what, because I'm terrible at organizing things. Absolutely terrible. I'll try and name these though, now that we're getting a little further in the model. It'll be a little easier for me to see what's it. Did I delete that body? Because I literally cannot find it right now. It's not that. I feel like I'm losing my... Oh, why is this one called pin? That should not be called pin. This should be called frame. And then this body right here. Which one's that? Body 35. Okay, that's pin. Alright, boom. So now I'm not as confused. Alright, so there's our arm, there's our pin, there's our lens, and we have this new surface that I created. So, and it's an over, what do you call it? An overbuild. So now I can pick that surface and under solid, create thicken. Okay, it's gonna try and go surface normal and thicken this up. So the next thing I want to do is measure. Okay, how thick is this? You know, this one's about 3.5. This one about 3.5 as well. So let's just go with 3.5. Do negative so it goes in the right direction I want. And we'll hit join. Why is this not working? It's not creative all. Oh, la, 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 la. All right, maybe I'm limited to 3 here. There are other ways to do this, so okay, let's try again. So thicken, -2. Why is it not letting me do that? Changing the inputs. Okay, let's start from scratch. I noticed you had the frame highlighted when David caught it, but I was not paying attention. Alright, so let's try this one more time. If this doesn't work, I probably have to stitch those 2 surfaces, then trim. Actually, let me just go ahead and do that, because I'm pretty sure that's what's happening right now. So I'll do another, or I wonder if I can, let's turn on my surface here, and turn off the frame. And let's edit this feature. And I want to trim away the rest of this. Hit OK. Okay, so edit feature. Let's pick the rest, which should leave a tiny piece. It's not doing it for me. So let's try another trim operation here. This is a MacBook Pro, yes. This is the 15-inch. I bought it right before they released the. I was so mad. Right before they released the new ones, I bought this one. So, okay, let me just take a look here. Okay, so what I need to do is trim off the rest of this surface shape. So let's go surface, trim, and I'm going to pick my sketch. And now let's trim away the rest of this and see if we can get it to work or crash my program. One of the two. All right, so now I have this little piece. I don't even care about this piece that's left over. All right, that's a separate deal. So now let's pick these two and I'm going to stitch these together. So stitch, hit OK. Why is this not working? Result is invalid. All right. Let's go back. Sometimes with 3D you kind of have to go back and forth unless you're like, I think 3D is a lot like sketching sometimes where, did I pick? Oh, okay. All right, so let's hide that guy. Hide that guy. Yeah, sometimes 3D is a lot like sketching where you're kind of just, you know, exploring and trying things out, seeing what works. And then when something works, it's like, yes, this is awesome. Because I swear the thicken was working before. It's weird. Solid, create, thicken. Pick this guy. Selected faces cannot be offset. Oh, why does it have negative 56? So weird. It has two faces selected. All right, so pick that one, create, thicken. There we go. Whew, man. Okay, now it's messing with me again. I think it only wants to do like 1 millimeter, which is nothing. Probably has to do with the triangular edge here. Maybe. Let's see if we can modify the sketch and see if that helps. Thanks for hanging with me. This is Sketch a Day, CAD a Day Live, whatever you want to call it. Let's pull this in and make it 14 or something. And I'll pull this up, pull this guy up here as well. Play with this radius, I think. How would I play with that radius? Okay, let's see if this works. So I'm gonna hit OK, and then try and thicken this up. So thicken, it's not working. Let's see. What's the best way to do this? I mean, I could do 2 offset planes and cut something that is thick. What do you call it? All right, let's just build it. Let's just build it. So create offset. I wonder if it's gonna give me the same. See, it's not. It doesn't even care. It's giving me an offset there, which is fine. And then if I want to, I could. Let's hide this guy. So I'm gonna hide this frame. Naming articles in your model definitely helps promote clarity in future reviews. Yeah, I know. When I'm working in production stuff with clients and when I'm at a company, I actually try to be very careful about naming things because yeah, this should work. I'm just doing some lofts here. Because yeah, you never know who's gonna open your file. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, see, that's interesting. But Fusion's figuring it out. All right. I'm not gonna ask any questions. I'm just gonna accept it. And go, all right, cool, Fusion. You got me, I got you. Oops, I don't need to stitch. I want to do another loft. But yeah, if you're working on a presentation or anything like that, you definitely want to make sure that whoever is looking at it can understand what you're doing later on for sure. Okay, let's stitch. I wonder if it's gonna give me a solid. I'm not sure. This is where I'm not sure. This is something I would typically do in Solidworks, so I'm hoping this works. Okay, so it's gonna stitch these all together. If it doesn't work, there's a new body. Okay, yeah, let's do a new body. Warning. What's the warning? Stitch body is invalid. Didn't give me a body. Ugh, so frustrating. Okay, so I don't know what this is then, because it's just there. All right, let's start at the very beginning. Sometimes I like to start fresh. So let's turn this guy on. What do you model, David? I'm curious. Are you doing product modeling? What's your dealio? I could do a sweep and then trim the sweep. So there's also that, and just work in a solid way. So let's do that. So I'll turn this off. Oops, wrong one. Turn this guy off. If you're watching on a YouTube, I think this is gonna wrap up in about 2 to 4 minutes. So my apologies. If you do want to catch the rest, head on over to youtube.com/sketchaday.com. Let's hide this guy, and then underneath here, I can. Let me just make sure I'm not being too tripped up here. Okay, the curve needs to go this way. All right. So now I'm going to just sketch in a solid fashion what it is I want. Okay. So let's go curve, straight line, oops, and then this is actually good because if I want there to be some taper to the whole thing, I can certainly do that. So curve like that. I don't even need to make the line construction, but it's just habit. I'm gonna make that line construction, and this one's not. So now I should be able to sweep along the frame when I turn that on, right there. All right, so now I should be able to, fingers crossed. Actually, just to be on the safe side, let's let's just see what happens. Okay, solid, create, sweep. I'm gonna pick this profile, and my path, I'm gonna pick this edge. It's not letting me do that. How would I do that now? See, that's where I'm a little bit like, because it wasn't letting me do that the other day. I thought I could do it here. So create, finish sketch, create, sweep. If this doesn't work, I have one more idea that I'm gonna try, and we'll see. Yeah, it's not letting me pick the, oh, it said something. I don't want to cut, I want to join. Okay, join, cut, intersect. All right, that's not working. Okay, let's try my other idea. All right. Because I found as well that when I use different programs or if I'm working on a different design, it's like, I don't know, it takes you a couple builds. Takes you a couple builds to get to a place where you feel super comfortable. Let's see. Just like last time, I have to upload this to Instagram. So give me just a sec, guys. Live CAD modeling, Fusion 360. Meanwhile, let me know how you're doing, how your day's going. Like I said, I have some stuff on the printer. I'm really excited. I just ordered a new 3D printer as well. It's a Prusa i3 Mark III, I think. James says, try Revolve instead. You know, that's a good idea. Because I could pick that axis. You know, you're right. You're so right, James. Thank you. So let me bring my sketch back. I'll just undo. And then let's try and do the Revolve. Because I had that axis. I went through that trouble of creating the axis. So let's see if that works. Boom. And it's off. Why is it off? Actually, let me clear this. I'm going to clear this axis and use the frame. Not the lens. Okay, let's try one more time here. Should work. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. Okay, give me just a sec. I'll figure it out. I just need to get this post up. 3D. All right. Boom. So let me just get this post up, which I just did, and let's see what we can do here. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's because so to get the frame, it was certainly an extrusion, but then there, if you go back in the history, there's actually a plane that's defining this whole thing. So what I need to do is be able to pull this curve in. If I can't do that, let's hide this guy. Why does it keep doing that? I need to hide the bridge. Let's name this the bridge. Okay, bridge. Nope, not that. Bridge. Okay, so let's hide the bridge. What was my first impression when using Fusion compared to Solidworks? I was really confused because it's so like it'll just pick up shapes like that, and I'm like, whoa, hey, chill, dude. I didn't tell you to pick up that shape, but it tries to make inferences based on what you're doing. Like it tries to be really smart, and I do appreciate that. But there's some things I don't necessarily get, like. So if I want to create a sketch, right, it's asking me where do I want to put it, and I could do 3D sketch, but I don't, in SolidWorks I was able to create a 3D sketch or pull curves and do all this other stuff. So I think what I may have to do here, guys, is I may have to actually split the frame. Okay, so like on the, like draw, create sketch on this plane. All these sketches are junk, so I'll have to get rid of those, but if I create a sketch on this plane, yep. Now I can just pick the height, right, that I want to split this thing. And since I don't want to split all the way through the model, I'm going to try and just draw a surface like this, rectangle. Pick this profile. It's going to give me a surface like so. Hit OK, and now I can hit split. Under solid, split, and I'm gonna split this body. I don't want to extend the splitting tool, and I'm gonna pick this guy. Hit OK. Why is it throwing me an error? This is crazy. No intersection between target and split tool. Of course there is, right there. Frustrating. All right. Split body. Splitting tools. Let's clear that. Oh, my bad. Okay. You can't, sometimes you have to pick from the feature tree. Okay. That's another thing I've discovered. So body to split, I'm going to pick the frame. So now it picks the whole thing, and the splitting tool, right? I need to pick my extrude, which for some reason is not show. Oh, there it is. Pick this extrude, and if I hit OK, it should work. Yeah. So now it works. So just a little watch out there. Someone asked how long it took to learn Fusion. It took a few months. I started using back in, when did I start using this? I started using back in September when I left my job. In fact, I was trying to get them to use it. We were about to do a training with some of the Autodesk peeps, and then we parted ways, I'll just say that, and yeah, here I am, doing my thing. Just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna overdraw this sketch, okay? And the reason for that is this back surface here is a little curved and weird, so let's edit the sketch. Okay, top profile, give me my view. Sometimes you have to zoom out to get where you are. Okay, so instead of construction line, let's switch this over. And I just need there to be an intersection. I'm not constraining this one. We're just gonna put a couple points in here, just like this, just so there is some meat, if you will, to the operation I'm about to do. And so now I should be able to go, all right, let's create a sweep. So solid, create, sweep. I can pick these two areas. So Fusion will combine whatever areas you select, okay? And now my path, if it works, please work. Why is this not? Oh. Okay, okay. Okay, and now I see. So I need to drag this sketch to after my split. Boom. So now I should be able to. So if you're working with feature trees, okay, you want to make sure that what you're doing is related to what was before. And if what was before is what you're editing, it's not going to work out for you. So I was quickly reminded of that, guys. All right. So sweep, boom, and boom. And then I should be able to pick this path. Yes, we got it right there. And I want to do, I'm not going to do a join yet. So we'll do a new body. Hit OK. All right. Woo! So there's my nose tab. Right, it's a little bit curved from the top. You can see it should be all tangent looking, assuming my sketch was created well. But again, not a huge deal because they're going to tumble this in abrasive material. Okay, so you do Revit. I've never used Revit and Navisworks. That's interesting. So let's create a sketch, and we'll do this plane here. Zoom out. All right. So now I want to create the shape of this tab. Okay. And let's do a straight line out. And then I want a curve. And then I want a straight line. Because I'm weird like that, and I like pure geometry as much as possible when I design products for myself. All right, so I'm gonna pick this point, this line, and let's do coincidence, so it should snap into place. So I can play with this shape now. Okay, should be able to play with this. These two need to be tangent though, so let's make sure those are tangent. So now I should be able to play with the shape of this. If I wanted to constrain it like I did before, let's pick these 2 points. Oh, that's an angle. I don't want that. So let's pick this point, clear this out, dimension from the tangency point to our coincident point, move it up, and I'm gonna do 5. All right. Now here, I need to make sure that this is also coincident or close enough. We'll settle for close enough, guys, because this is stressing me out. So we'll settle for close enough today. I can hit finish sketch. Well, sketch isn't finished. I need one more line here. All right, one more line. Because I'm overbuilding. Boom. All right, so now I have a closed profile, so I can do, let's see. I'm gonna have to do a split. So solid, split body, using this sketch. So I'm gonna split this body using this sketch. Hit OK. I can turn off this junk or delete it. And now there's a command here, combine, so I can pick these 3 and hit join. And now it should make them into one shape. It's kind of messy. There's a weird thing there, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. That's also weird. Let me think on that one. That might just be based on my extrusion. So let's modify that guy. All right, I'm just gonna modify this. And I need to pull this up, so I'm just gonna pull on this line, and now I can kind of adjust, you know, where that cut happens. Finish the sketch, and we should have a cleaner intersection point right there. Yeah, we got a clean point. So if I want to finish this off, I can add a fillet, for example, just to finish off that transition. Hit OK, and now we can get back to business. All right, so let's turn the bridge on. You can see that there, and I'm not sure if I deleted my mirror. I think I may have deleted. Nope, it's right there. So let's test our mirror out. Okay, there you can see the other half of the glasses. I'm gonna edit this to include some other bodies. So let's include the lens. Actually, let's just deselect everything. So let's just repick what we want to mirror. Why is this not working? Surfaces are off. Let's move these to a group of just junk. I'll clean it up later. AutoCAD Master. Yeah, I haven't really dabbled in AutoCAD much. So let's see. Let's edit this mirror because I want to get the lens to mirror as well. All right, so that's what I'm trying to do. Mirror plane, 5 bodies. It's not letting me pick my lens for some reason. All right, so let's pick lens. Let's pick the pin. Yeah, it's not letting me pick the pin. Let's try a fresh command and see if that works. So create mirror, or I might have to do it in separate. Sometimes programs are just, you know, really picky. Create mirror, and I want to mirror this body, the pin, bridge, and the lens. So all this stuff I want to mirror across this plane. Hit OK. Boom. There we go. And now I can start to combine things like here, combining the bridge. All right, just like that. And that's really just the only part that needs to be combined. So everything else on this feature tree I can kind of delete. Just like that. And there, oops, I forgot to mirror one more thing. One more thing. Let's see if it'll let me do it now. Okay, so pin. Yeah, I think for some reason I have to like give it a fresh command. So let's make sure we pick everything here. So create mirror, and now I can pick my pin, the arm, frame end, the lens, and bridge. And we're gonna mirror across, what's this? I think this is the YZ. Hit OK. And now I will combine the bridge into one piece. Boom. All right. Whew. What an adventure, but I still forgot to add my fillet. That's okay. We can add that back here before the mirror. Okay, so the mirror and the combiner are the important ones. As long as I don't add any new bodies, I should be okay. You know, I can even come in and fillet right here, which I don't think made it. So let's fillet this. We'll go 5 maybe. Yep. Now I should be able to pick, let's see. I don't really want the fillet running into that edge necessarily. Hold Control Command to modify selection. Oh. Okay. All right. Good to know. Thank you, James. Always learning, always open to things. I'm so used to Solidworks now, though, that this has been good in some ways and frustrating in other ways. So I appreciate you guys chiming in when you have. What the what? Okay, now it's working. Cool. But I think this is gonna run, yeah, it's trying to run the fillet all the way up my frame end here. So what I'd probably need to do is do another split and that, or I don't know if there's a way. Oh, it does have tangent chain. Cool. So I've just deselected tangent chain now. I'm gonna clear this, and actually I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. Well, let's see here. 0.5. And now for my new set, I can pick deselect tangent chain and just pick what I want to be filleted. Nope. It's saying no way, guys, no way. Yeah, it probably needs more work, but I'm gonna leave it as is for now. Okay, let's ignore the backside. let's ignore the backside and move forward, because I do want to show you a couple cool things you can do in Fusion. So let's say, and I hope I don't break this, so I'm going to save it here again. But let's say I wanted to machine just the lens point. So I can, let's see, let's pick, let me go to manufacture. Okay, so that's going to be the setup we're going to create. And I don't know a ton about this. I'm just learning. So there's probably a lot of things that I'm going to struggle with here. But I want to create a new setup is what it's called. So I click that folder. And it's going to create a volume around the entire model. Okay. And it's picking this entire model, but I could select specific bodies, I think. Let's see. So if I just wanted to do the frame, for example, I guess the frame's not one piece. So let's see. Orientation, model orientation, machine. Let's just pick some standard CNC, like a Haas. Okay. Yeah, let's just do that. So let's select that, select a machine. Actually, let's see what we can do with this. We'll just create a simulation, assuming it's going to cut the entire glasses out of one part. So I picked my milling operation, which basically means taking a router bit or end mill, and it's going to subtract material from this. For the orientation, I have options. I can pick a z-axis plane, an x-axis. This is what I've been working with so far. And again, I've just been to one webinar. So my apologies if I'm completely bungling this. I should probably do a follow-up, and I can have one of the Autodesk guys help me out. So for the origin, I can do stock box point. Which basically, this yellow stuff around it is, okay, imagine if this were solid plastic or something. It's going to try and pick through. For the model, it says nothing here, but I need to go in and pick something. So let's pick, let's say I wanted to machine this part. Okay, and I wanted to machine this part, and not the lens. Okay, that arm. Let's just say for argument's sake, okay? So for the z-axis, that looks good. X-axis, let's see. I can just pick this line, and then I need to, for the origin, I can select a point. So like right here. So this basically means this is where the CNC machine is going to start cutting. Okay. Why did I flip the x-axis? All right, let's just pick this for this corner for argument's sake. Hit OK. So now I have a setup. So the next thing I can do is I can add operations. So if I'm milling something, I can do something called a 3D adaptive clearing. So I'm going to click on that, and I need to pick a tool. So I'm going to pick an end mill, and I can search for different tools here. So let's see. Let's see if there's a 5mm. Actually, I need to add a tool. So hit add. It's going to give me some options. I could enter this manually, and I think there's a way here. To do that. So let's look for 3D profile. Okay. Why is this not working? I'm supposed to be able to pick a tool here. Let's say we just create a tool. So I'll just enter some junk text, and I'm gonna go with a ball end mill, just for argument's sake, and we'll just go with that. All right. So the overall body length, that's about 2 inches. Hit OK. So it's gonna be like, oh, do you want coolant? All this stuff. You can enter those settings. You kind of have to know your machine if you're gonna set this up. So just FYI. But once you got it set up, you'll notice that now I have this tool in place. Okay, and you can specify what area of the model, how many passes, and so forth that you want to create. So let me just make sure. Okay, I don't need to do that. Passes, fillet smoothing, feed optimization, stock to leave. We'll just go with the defaults for now. And you'll notice here's some lines that are showing up. So it's trying to calculate now, based on my model, how it's going to cut all of this stuff. So all these lines you're seeing are the passes that this tool is going to make to cut this part of the model out, okay? And if I want to see that, I can go to simulate, all right? Let's turn the stock on so you can kind of see. We can make it transparent. And then once I hit play, you'll see this tool is coming in, and you'll see how, you know, if I were cutting this out of real material, it gives you an idea of what's going to happen. It's pretty cool. Okay, it'll even tell you how long, based on your settings, this is going to take. So this is going to take 24 hours and 26 minutes. Or is it 26 minutes and 26 seconds? I think it's 26 minutes and 26 seconds. My bad. So here we can speed it up. You'll see. I do need to turn off, where is it? Tail. I think there was another setting here I totally forgot about. But again, you can kind of see, here's what's going to happen, right? It's actually cutting out of plastic vinyl, so that's kind of cool. We can rotate this as it's doing it so you can see from another side. All right, pretty cool. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. You can also do this with 3D printers if you can manually program your 3D printer. You can set it up for how many steps in each layer, all of that, step over, all this stuff. Okay, so what you end up with here, oh yeah, tail, there we go. So tail actually clears everything out, and what you're seeing here transparent is what the first pass would be. Okay, so if you're machining stuff, and we can get into this another time, but if you're machining stuff, the tool is going to come in, that virtual thing that you saw come in, it's spinning at high speed, it's sloughing off material, it's cutting stuff away, and this is what you're going to be left with if you were doing a milling operation. So now you'd have to do another setup where you rotate this whole thing. You take it, you rotate it, and then the tool comes in another angle. Or if you have a machine that can kind of attack this at the right angle, that's what would happen. All right, guys, so I'm gonna get rid of this setup. I don't need to do this cam stuff, so let's go back to design here. And what I want to do is I want to export my entire model here as an STL. So let's pick these parts. At least I want to group like the frame and all this together. Let's see, I think if there is no separation, it should be fine. I think we'll be okay. But let me pick these surfaces, because I just want to clean up my feature tree here. All right, let's see if we can create components. Nope. Create selection set. Nope. I want to group these. Can I do edit group? No, I can't. Oh, it's weird. Oh, okay, let's do new group, and then I'll just drag these into the group. That makes sense. Okay, so all this stuff I don't need as a part of my model. I'm just gonna drag into this group and clean things up. Here we are. So once again, just working from our sketch that we initially created. And it's funny because, you know, as much as I wanted to change the design, we kind of ended up back here. I did change the tips here, but the bridge, I think it'll be cool. I like how everything lines up and it's, you know, flowing together. So there's a couple ways to do this. I'm actually just gonna test this and see what I end up with. So we're gonna experiment a little bit. So I don't need the lens. I'm gonna turn that off. Let's turn off this lens as well, because we don't need those since I'm 3D printing. And I just want, okay, this is my right lens, or right frame. So I'll call this right frame. And then, actually, if I'm 3D printing this, I'm not going to print this in different parts. So I could actually do just a final command here at the end and just combine all of these together, this whole piece. So my frame end piece, frame, and this end piece. It's going to join it all together. All right. Don't mind the color, although that's kind of cool. What I want to do now, okay, so if you click on something in a model and you want to find it in your feature tree, it has a little dotted line underneath it. So They renamed it bridge. It just picked whatever is convenient. So I can right click on this now and go save as STL. All right. You can see STL is a file that your 3D printer or milling machines use. It'll translate stuff into G code, and we can get into weeds on that, but basically a language that the machine will understand. So by picking this and hitting go to STL, and I have it set up so it'll just send it to my 3D printer. So I'm gonna hit OK. All right, I was printing something else there, so it's asking me, do I want to put this on a platform? Yes. An error has occurred. Let's repair the model. Sometimes it just stitches things together. Okay, let me get rid of this stuff. I'll tell you about that project later. All right, so there's my glasses frame. And I'm actually going to send this to print. I'm going to send this to print right after the show here. So let's pick this. And my 3D printer is really small. So first thing I need to do is kind of rotate so it'll fit on the platform. So I'm going to pick this and just rotate it. Okay, so at a diagonal, it's a little cheat to make things fit. I'm gonna make sure the model is selected, hit on platform, or I can just move it around wherever I want it to be. I don't think the glasses arms will fit. Maybe on the side. I could try. Let's see if it'll fit. Maybe I can print it all at once. Let's see here. So back to Fusion. Now I'm gonna pick this part. And it is telling me that's body 60, so save as STL, hit OK, and that was the right arm, so you guys remind me if I forget. So there's this part now, and I'm going to, sorry, there's some junk on the screen here. All right, we're back. So now I'm going to rotate this part, and let's do 90 degrees that way, and I want to rotate not the Z, but the Y. Like so. And I just have a small cheap printer, guys, so let me undo that. I'm hoping this will fit and work. All right, and now I want to move and set this on my platform. Okay, I might be able to do this. I might be able to do this in one print. Okay, so let's move this guy. Okay, it's telling me that works. So now I can take the other arm here in Fusion, boom, right click, or not right click, which one is this? Let me just make sure. Click, this is body 19, save as STL, hit OK. We're gonna do the same thing. This is my other arm. And I'll return and report and show you guys what's up here once the print is done. But this outline is my 3D printer. It prints about 6 by 6 by 6. It's really small. Let me just save this. And I can hide Fusion. All right, so now let's rotate this guy. Boom, boom, and boom. All right, something like that. I can move it onto the platform. I'm gonna try and do auto layout and see if that works. So I have this feature, if I go edit, auto layout, it's gonna say how much space do you want, 2 millimeters is fine, hit OK. And there we go. So it put it on the platform for me. And I think this will work. This will be an interesting print. So if you notice, there's some parts that are hovering over the 3D printer's surface. That won't work. So what I have to do is actually go supports. And I have options to do different types of supports, but I'm just gonna hit auto support. It's gonna create these structures, hit OK. Some of these structures it looks like they're falling off. So I can move these parts, I think. Let's go back, no. I'm gonna do some manual layout here. There we go. All right, so now this should fit. Let's go ahead and rotate this guy. So when you have a cheap 3D printer, this is kind of what you have to do. All right. Oh, it's not letting me do it with the support. So let me clear these supports back. No. Yes, let's delete. Oh wait, I think it's under clear supports right there. So I'm just gonna rotate this frame just a little bit because I'm trying to see if I can squeeze everything into the same file, or same print, I should say. One arm up, one arm down. Yeah, that could work. Oh, one arm up and one. Oh, I see what you're saying, David. Thanks. Okay, my bad. That's not what I want. Is it? I just want to make sure it fits. Okay, so let's move this down. This is like a game of musical chairs as far as 3D stuff. Okay, thanks for catching that, David. And I can actually move this back a little bit, I think. So sometimes auto layout's good, sometimes not. But now let's do the auto supports and it should be okay. Yeah, so nothing, no collisions to report. It's gonna do this green stuff in like a way that's gonna peel away from the frames. So now I'm gonna go back. It's gonna ask me to save, hit OK. When I hit print, it's gonna ask me what do I want to do here. So I'm gonna pick ABS, which is a material I have. I think I'll do these in black ABS so I get a better sense for what they're gonna look like. So black ABS, I'm gonna do a standard resolution. It's gonna ask me, you know, how much do I want to fill this in, whatever. I'm just gonna go with the defaults for now. Hit OK. It's gonna ask me to save this. I'll save this as Banton Frameworks Shades. Hit save, and now it's calculating everything. Okay, so once it's done calculating, it's telling me, okay, this is gonna take 4 hours and 28 minutes to print all of this stuff. So right around 6 o'clock today, maybe 7, I should have some finished glasses, and like I said, I can return and report, show you guys what's up. I hope this works. I really do. I can't hit print right now because my printer is actually busy. So this little thing right here, it says, oh, I'm 88% done. We're almost there. Keep going. So once that's done and wrapped up, I will come back to you guys and tell you how that went. So hopefully this was informative for you. I'll do some more stuff like this. I'm actually going to be building a studio in my backyard. So I'm happy to show some of that process, maybe build it in VR, maybe do SketchUp a little bit, SketchUp the app, bring that into Fusion. We could do some VR stuff, maybe even 3D print a miniature. Lots of stuff we can do together. So thanks for hanging. I'll be back live tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific for sketching. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to email me. If you want to support what I'm doing, Patreon's a great way to do that. You can also make contributions, donations, that kind of thing. I think, do I have my video frame? I do have my video frame up. So all those links are there as well. So yeah, thanks for hanging, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care. Check out all the new stuff, merch, all that good stuff. I love you. Bye, guys.